Lately I thought lots about you, so I thought I'd dare to go. Do you recall?
Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz trumpeter and composer Danny Jonokuchi. We talked about his new 2023 CD Voices. It's his outside of music label debut as a bandleader in celebration of the enduring power of collective artistry and the boundless possibilities of vocal expression, featuring a stellar 17-piece big band. He first moved to New York City a decade ago, initially developing the concept for Voices upon meeting the 17 masterful musicians that now populate the impressive big band he leads. We cover some great ground in this interview. Enjoy.
Cool, man. Well, hey, it's great to meet you. I've really enjoyed the album, and I would love to get into Voices, but before I do, how did you survive COVID? I know it did its ditty on the music community. How did you survive that time period, and how does it feel to have an album coming out now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It was definitely a difficult time. I live in Brooklyn. I'm originally from California, so it's kind of far from home, family, and things like that. But I spent the first couple months of the pandemic kind of reeling the losses of more and more shows, big festivals that were canceled, a lot of opportunities that I've been looking forward to for all of the year, and really stuff that I had planned even since 2019. So that first couple months, I was really getting down. Things were not really happening, but I kept optimistic and I kept writing. And after a few months, I decided, you know what, I really want to make the most of this time. It seems like we're in it for the long haul. And I just started to actually go back to school and get a master's degree in composition. And I studied at Queens College with the great Michael Philip Mossman, amazing trumpet player and composer. And it was the smartest decision I've made in my adult life to go study with him and spend 2 years just honing the craft of writing, because it was something that was so easy to do from home. Didn't require, it's always great to have your music played, but really I was able to get constant feedback from him on a daily basis on my writing, and had all the time in the world to write. So it was really kind of, making the best of a bad situation. So I was really fortunate to work with some great masters of writing and to study with some people, as well as like John Clayton and Darcy James Argue. I was just taking lessons as much as I could. So, yeah.
So what are you hoping the listener gets from this album?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot. I think that there's a lot of respect for the tradition of vocalists performing with big bands. It's something that I've always loved, kind of that combination of a really expressive vocalist backed by an entire 17-piece band, but also the relationship with the writer who's really trying to shine a spotlight on the vocalist and the band through the arrangements. So I'm hoping that people hear a lot of the history of vocals with big band, a lot of references to a lot of classic records, but also I hope that they hear some new voices, hopefully that they haven't heard before, and maybe some that they have and already love, and can really just fall in love with this genre all over again with people in New York City that are out here doing it, making a living doing it, touring, performing, and really, really shining.
So how did this jazz journey begin for you? Take me back to where you were born and raised, some early influences and why you picked music.
Absolutely. So I was born and raised in Agora Hills, California. It's about an hour northwest of Los Angeles. And out there were a lot of really incredible studio musicians and big band musicians that were really seminal in the big band years and touring. And so a lot of my early mentors were really just these legends of big band music and performing. And I didn't even realize how lucky I was at the time, kind of growing up, and these incredible architects of the music were just around. They were always trying to educate. They were always trying to be a part of the school jazz systems and trying to teach privately. So it was a really inspiring thing to be around them and to learn about this music through people that actually did it. And, they pretty unanimously said, if you really want to do this thing, the jazz world, you should move to New York City eventually. So I kind of always had my sights on moving to New York at some point. So I did move to the East Coast when I was 18, when I went to college at Temple University and studied with the great Terrell Stafford, trumpeter, also the program director at Temple University. So, kind of my big band journey took off moving to the East Coast, and then I moved up to New York City after that. So kind of been a wild ride, a lot of great mentors and people that have shown me how to play this music, and I'm hoping that all of that kind of gets captured in this album.
So, for something that you picked, that is really hinged a lot on live music, what was the first live show you saw, live jazz show that blew you away?
That's a really good question. There was a lot of great big band music actually that was brought to me, even in Southern California. Some really great concerts. I remember I saw Gerald Wilson's jazz orchestra play not too far from my hometown. That was an incredible experience seeing Gerald Wilson conduct. I remember seeing Gordon Goodwin's Big Fat Band perform. That was really seminal, as well as seeing the Clayton Hamilton Jazz Orchestra. And I remember I saw them when I was probably just a freshman in high school. And one of my mentors, Ira Napis, the lead trombone player for that orchestra, he invited me backstage and he said, I really want to introduce you to somebody. And I had no idea who he was talking about. And just as a young trumpet player, I was very excited. And I get backstage and he just brings me into the green room, and it's just me, him, and the one and only Snooky Young, the incredible lead trumpet player from the Count Basie Orchestra, and so many other things. And I got to just chat with Snooky for a long time, and he really took the time to just chat with me, a young trumpet player. And I'll never forget that moment, really. It was just like meeting one of my heroes and the legends of creators of this music. Was so inspiring at a young age to really be exposed to that kind of level of musicianship.
So, you've dedicated your life to this, and I'm curious, what is it that you enjoy the most about this process of being a professional musician, between recording and, promoting and live music and all that? What is it that motivates you the most?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons I love jazz. I think for me, the elements of swing, the rhythm of swing, the joyful celebration that is that rhythm, combined with improvisation, really has always stuck with me. Those two elements, I think the rhythm that really, really drives, as well as just being creative in the moment, combined with, more structured things like arrangements, it really, to me, just allows everybody to be so self-expressive. And even with, a record like this where there's 33 people, there's not a lot of opportunities for such individual playing to come through in the music, but still have such a large organization of people. It really has a lot of give and take. Everybody's bringing something to the table, but we still have something that's very cohesive. So that's always something that's stuck with me and been very interested in exploring.
If you could get into a time machine and go back in time and see any live jazz performance, where would you go? What would you love to see live?
Oh, that's a really great question. There's so many things. I think it would be hard for me to pick one thing or even one year or era. I think that question gets tossed around a lot. Like, what year would you go back to? There's so many things. I think there's a lot of, like early Louis Armstrong things and Duke Ellington performances that maybe we don't have recorded or we don't have, documented as well. I mean, I would love to go back to Ellington and Newport and experience that live, that excitement. But there's so many things that just weren't really documented. A lot of performances from the early years that we don't have, and I feel like I would want to see that in person.
So, Danny, if anyone out there wants to pick up the album, anything about live shows, anything pertaining to your world, where's the best place for people out there to find that out and go to it?
I'm hoping that this album is as easy to find as anything these days, that, wherever people are finding their music these days, that's the best place to find it for them. It should be pretty much anywhere. But, of course, we have this tour coming up. We're going to be playing in New York this weekend at Birdland. We're going to be playing in Tucson at the Century Room, going down to Texas to play at Monks in Austin, and Jazz Texas in San Antonio. vibrato in LA. We're going to be playing in Philadelphia. So I would recommend people hear it live because, like I said, I think the live element of this music is the most important thing. And hearing the voices live is something that's truly special, especially because we have so many special guests lined up to sing at these shows. It's some people that sang on the record. It's some people that didn't sing on the record. I think that these are going to be some really special moments. So if people can make it out, and, you know, obviously I can't make it everywhere with a big band right now, but I'm hoping that we can explore more opportunities and bringing this project around to more people to experience it live.
Man, Danny, thank you so much for opening up. Again, I really enjoyed the album. I'm looking forward to profiling it on the show. So thank you for your time and best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much, Joe. It's been a really pleasure chatting with you, and I'm so happy for the support. And I just hope everyone enjoys the music.
Thanks for listening and tuning into another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players and minds in New York City, Kansas City, and spots all over the globe, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Danny for his time, energy, and cool. If you want to hear more Neon Jazz interviews, you can find us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Subscribe to us at YouTube. And for everything Neon Jazz, go to theneonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Simple social call. A simple social call.
Neon Jazz.